Damn, that's a big fat ass.
guys. I hope you all can see me. Oh, let me check and see if I'm on camera. Okay, I am on camera. I absolutely do not know what just happened because on my screen, I could clearly see the intro playing. So I decided, okay, I'm going to let the intro play for what, like half an hour? And I'm going to wash my hair and I'm going to dry it and all of that. And then I get a text from Anna saying that it was showing the chair. And I thought, what the actual hell? This makes absolutely no sense. So, for those of you who stuck around, I appreciate it. God, I'm a mess. Oh, okay, you can hear me and you can see me, right? Can you hear and see me now? I don't know what the hell is going on today. I must have lost my damn mind. I am so sorry, you guys. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being here. And thank you, Anna, for letting me know that it was that what was streaming was an empty chair. Again, on my screen in StreamYard, it was showing that the intro. Hey, CCP, good to see you. And thank you, Grace, for saying that you love the glasses. These were not the glasses I was going to wear. I was taken so much off guard by Anna's text message that I misplaced my other glasses. And I had to go frantically searching among my spare glasses, so I dug these out. And thank you for the compliment. I, too, am very, very fond of these glasses, so thank you. So welcome, everybody. I was going back and forth on what to stream about today. I was taking a look at some videos, and I thought, nah, don't feel like it. So I thought, well, the Oscars are tomorrow, and I have a recommendation for you guys. So I thought, why not go ahead and do a movie stream? Because I love me some movies, and I think that those of you who tuned in probably love movies too. But first, I have a message to send a couple of people whose names will go unmentioned in this chat or in this stream. And my message to you guys is die mad, salty bitches. That's all I can say. Some people know how to move on from years-long brawls, and some people don't. And if some people want to continue perpetuating years-long brawls, be my guest. That's message number one. But Negz and I are not of that frame of mind. And so if you are in the audience of these channels and you want to get everybody worked up to continue in pointless online arguments that have resulted in a lot of suffering and a lot of bullshit for a lot of people, feel free to do so. Now, I have blocked a lot of people in other communities in chat, so blocked on my end, so I don't know what people are saying. And I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. You want a Roman Colosseum, you can go elsewhere. All right? You can go elsewhere. But no. And point number 2 that I will be making is that if you think that going on a channel and insulting, degrading, dragging, or lying about me is in any way going to convince me to talk to you, you are very sadly mistaken. It is not going to happen. Absolutely not. I have no interest in talking to people of that frame of mind. None. Any more than I have an interest in talking to some insane activist in Portland, or these lunatic keffiyeh-wearing students on college campuses. No, that's not me. That's not me. I've earned the right to decide who I talk to and when and under what circumstances. So that's a big fat no from me. Continue to cater to your hate audience, and I will do my thing on this channel. So anyway, again, welcome everybody, and I'm glad that you're here for a relatively drama-free conversation. It's good to see you guys. So I'm going to start off with my recommendation for everybody. Last night, I watched The Last Showgirl. Now, I don't know how many of you guys have watched this movie, but it is absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. And I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend that you see it. I think it is a goddamn shame that it got shut out of Oscar consideration. I think it's a shame that Miley Cyrus's song was not nominated for Best Song this year. What can I tell you about this movie? The broader overview is we had 2 movies come out last year that paint a really interesting and diametrically opposed picture, although they tell the same story about what it is like to age as a woman. One of them was The Substance, and the other one was The Last Showgirl. Now, in The Last Showgirl, as the title would suggest, Pamela Anderson plays a showgirl who has been performing in the same show in Las Vegas for 30 years. Now, when I'm talking about a showgirl, I'm not talking about like the Folies Bergère. I am not talking about the Rockettes. I'm not talking about that level. This is sort of a down market, sort of seedy showgirl act that's well past its due date, past its sell-by date. And the audience for the show is rapidly diminishing. And so the production company is faced with the reality that the show is outdated, that the audience doesn't want to see this kind of entertainment anymore. And so the show gets pulled. And so what we're watching is the last couple of weeks of this show being performed. And Pamela Anderson plays a woman who has been with the show for, like I said, 30 years. She's been dancing this part for 30 years. Jamie Lee Curtis plays a woman who used to be in the show, but she aged out of the show. And so she's now working as a cocktail waitress at a casino. And both of these women are facing the ageism of both the, hey, truly Canadian, both the performance industry and the hospitality industry in Vegas. The Jamie Lee Curtis character is getting her shifts shortened and pulled because the food and beverage manager or the bar manager wants to put younger, prettier girls on the floor. And Pamela Anderson I mean, she can't help it that the show is getting pulled, but now she's facing the reality that she's been doing one thing for decades and decades and decades. Hey, Riri, how you doing? And so she's faced with the reality that she's going to have to confront life choices that she's made in order to, and the sacrifices that she's made in order to stay as part of this show, and facing the choices that she's going to make going forward. You know, what does a woman do when she's been a showgirl for 30 years and she has no other job skills and she has really nothing else to offer by way of work? But she's now at a point where she has to shave decades off of her age to even go to an audition. What does she do with her life? And it's very, very touching. It's very, very sad. It's very poignant. The chemistry between Jamie Lee Curtis and Pamela Anderson is superb. And the acting is so good. Just so that you know, Jamie Lee Curtis steals every single scene that she's in. And the chemistry between her and Pamela Anderson is so warm and so touching. And they're both such tragic characters in their own way. And the friendship that they have is so kind and warm and loving. And the fear, like the real fear that these two women have of what they are going to do now. Do you retire? Because the younger showgirls tell them, oh, I can't wait until I retire. It must be so great. But these are women that are not exactly, do not exactly have a foot in the grave. They still have a lot of, healthy years left. But the question is, what do you do with them? Realistically, what do you do with the time that you have left when your options are so very limited? So Dave Bautista is incredible as the manager of this show. I did not know that he had these acting chops in him. His character is very vulnerable. He's very touching. He's very kind. The diametric opposite of the Dennis Quaid character in The Substance. But it's a wonderful movie about aging. It's a wonderful movie about what do you do when you have made your living off of your looks, off of your appearance, and what is it that you move on to when it's over? It's a beautiful, lovely movie. And there's another aspect to it that I find very interesting, and the older women who are watching this will understand that. And that is that as we get older as women, younger women or younger people will look up to us as mother figures. And to what extent is being seen as a mother figure by kids or younger people who are not your children, to what extent is that something that is foisted upon you? And to what extent are you expected to step into that role and be a mentor and be open to, listening to people who have problems that they want to come to you with? To what extent are you expected to behave in a certain fashion, to speak a certain way, to look a certain way, to behave a certain way? And are we, as older women, obligated to behave in a manner that comports with that maternal figure? And there's a wonderful scene in the film where Pamela Anderson has just gone to an audition for some sort of a dance. It's a dance audition. And she gets very, very frustrated because she is humiliated by the person who is conducting the audition. She lies about her age on stage. And the person who is conducting the audition makes it abundantly clear that basically she's past her sell-by date. And so she runs out to her car, and there's a young showgirl out there who is part of her troupe in the show, the Showgirl show. And Pamela Anderson just has this massive breakdown, this temper tantrum, and says, I'm not your mother. I am not your mom. And makes it abundantly clear that she's had enough. She still feels young inside, and she feels like she has something to offer. But really, now the way people are looking at her is as an old, used up, over the hill person whose only role in life is to dispense wisdom to the younger generation. And she resents it. She's not very kind to this young woman. And I found that such an interesting scene. The script is so good. The script is so good. It is so beautifully written. And it touches on such important topics that women have to confront as we get older. Now, in the case of the Jamie Lee Curtis, thank you, Snutter. Thank you, my love. I appreciate you. Thank you for gifting a membership. In the case of the Jamie Lee Curtis character and the Pamela Anderson character, what great casting. Because you may remember that Jamie Lee Curtis was quite the sex symbol in the 80s with her boobs and everything. And of course, Pamela Anderson, she built her brand on being a sex symbol. And to see Pamela Anderson makeup free, throwing herself into such a complex, sensitive role and embracing her aging the way she has was a revelation to me. I didn't think that she would be capable of playing a role like this. And she was magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I loved every single minute of this movie. And in a funny kind of way, I know that this is kind of weird and out of nowhere, but I saw a lot of parallels between this movie and The Turning Point, because you remember The Turning Point was about ballet, and Anne Bancroft plays the ballerina who stuck with the career and gave up having a family and gave up marriage and gave up all those things in order to remain on stage. While the Shirley MacLaine character, who used to dance in the corps de ballet with Anne Bancroft, gets pregnant at a young age. And Anne Bancroft encourages her to have the baby and stick with the father of the baby. And they end up getting married and moving to Oklahoma and opening a ballet school. And when the two old friends confront each other, the Anne Bancroft character admits that she deliberately told Shirley MacLaine to keep the baby, to sabotage her dancing career, because she was Anne Bancroft's biggest competition. And again, it's a movie about aging and about the choices that we make when we're young and the choices that we have to live with as we reach middle age, and maybe we're in a profession that requires a certain physical exertion that we're no longer capable of making as we get older, which is what the Anne Bancroft character is confronting. So you have these two women who envy each other's lifestyle. One has a family and the other one has a career. And they both wish they could switch places with one another. So, the Jamie Lee Curtis character never had a family. She chose the stage and then cocktail waitressing. And then the Pamela Anderson character has a fraught relationship with her daughter, which is an interesting sort of story arc throughout the movie. It is a beautiful movie about aging. And in that sense, it is similar to The Substance, in that The Substance decides to take a body horror approach to examining the issue of aging and the setbacks that women face as they get older, and the fact that older women become kind of invisible in society, in that, and again, you have these two parallels where the Demi Moore character in The Substance was making her living as kind of like a Jane Fonda type fitness celebrity on television, and she ages out. And so she ends up taking The Substance. This is sort of like the dark flip side horror version of Death Becomes Her. And when we see that she is literally split into two people. She, on the one hand, she is the current version of herself. And on the other hand, she is the younger version of herself. And the question is, if you could take a substance to make you younger, to make you, set you back to the time when you were in your prime, what would you do with that time? What regrets, what mistakes would you make up for? Well, it turns out that the younger version of the Demi Moore character is exactly like the older version, only she's the younger version. So the ending is, it's quite shocking and extremely graphic, but The Last Showgirl and The Substance are two sides of the same coin. Absolutely excellent. And it made me think, it's funny because we don't really think about this that much, but last year was a really good year for women in movies. Tiffany, thank you for becoming a member, and welcome to you. Thank you. We had some great roles for women, and we had some great roles for older women. And we had great roles for older women to remind us that even though we reach our 50s, our 60s, whatever, we're not dead yet. We're not dead yet. And we are fully capable of righting our past wrongs. We are fully capable of breaking out in new paths. No matter what we have done in life, we are capable of starting anew and creating a new life. Tiffany, you are going to love it. You are going to love it. It's one of the best movies of the year, quite frankly. I loved it, and I am so proud of Pamela Anderson. I am so proud of her. I didn't know that she had played Roxy Hart on Broadway in Chicago. I had absolutely no idea. And Karsten sent me this comp reel of great Roxy Hart performances because he wanted me to see Melanie Griffith as Roxy Hart and how great she was. But it started with Pamela Anderson, and I called him and I said, "Is that Pamela Anderson?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "When the hell did she play Roxy Hart?" And he said, "Yeah, she played Roxy Hart on Broadway, and she was fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. She was so good." So she's had this whole post-sex pot life that has absolutely nothing to do with Tommy Lee, with sex tapes, with Baywatch, with barbed wire, with any of that shit. And her controversial, 24-hour marriages and the stuff that ends up getting her in the tabloids. I watched this male reviewer last night who was obviously a heterosexual man talk about I'm sorry, I'm distracted. I'm texting and I shouldn't be. I'm distracted. And I was so distracted I forgot what the hell I was talking about. The male reviewer. So he was saying, she's trying to pull that Pamela Anderson is trying to pull the wool over the eyes of Hollywood because she decided to do this no makeup thing. And she's trying to portray herself as a victim of Hollywood, which in a way she is. she's trying to break out of the image that was pigeonholed, that she was pigeonholed in. And that now that she's older, she's trying to break away from it. Well, I don't think she was given much of a choice. I mean, her body is banging. Her body is banging. Her legs are incredible. She's got a fantastic physique. But she's older. I mean, by Hollywood standards, she might as well be dead, you know? And here she is, body exposed in this movie. With the headdresses and the sequins and everything else. And she's telling everybody to go fuck themselves with this amazing tour de force performance. It was wonderful. So, hey, Jen, how you doing? I thought it was wonderful. I really did. And I thought that a lot of the reviewers who watched it and, you know, downvoted it for whatever reason, I thought a lot of them missed the point. This movie was shot on a shoestring budget. It was shot in 18 days. And one of the things that I loved about it too is that Gia Coppola, who is a Coppola, it was obviously something that came from the heart, and it shows. And one of the things that this guy pointed out in his stupid review of the movie was, well, and it looks bad. The cinematography is weird. It's shot badly. It's not shot badly. It was shot on 16 millimeter. It was shot on 16 millimeter to give it that dirty sort of seedy edge, you know, like an old porno, you know, almost like an old VHS tape. And I thought that the way it was shot was very, very effective. And there was absolutely no fear she had in getting the extreme close-ups of her face, where she is clearly showing her age. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, and she always will be a beautiful woman. But, you know, makeup-free, warts and all, not literal warts. You guys know what I'm saying. And she doesn't have a problem with it. And I say, what a goddamn shame that Gascon was nominated and took a spot away that rightfully should have gone to Pamela Anderson, not Nicole Kidman, not Angelina Jolie. It should have gone to Pamela Anderson. She should have gotten her due. And I'm very angry still. I'm very bitter about the Emilia Perez nominations. Emilia Perez was one of the worst movies, not only of 2024, but one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It was horrible. It was fantastic, wasn't it, Scotty? Yes, let me bring that up. It was amazing. And I liked the fact that when Pamela Anderson auditioned for that dance role, that she picked a Pat Benatar song. So in the songs that they dance to in the movie, they're showing their age. They're showing what generation they come from. And I thought that was great too. So, brief roundup. This morning I watched Ben Shapiro's really shitty takes on the Oscars tomorrow. I mean, horrendous takes. And I was laughing. Now, if I had to make a bet, if I had to make a prediction right now about which movie is going to take Best Picture, I'm guessing Anora is going to win. I think Anora will win. I think the toss-up for Best Actress is between Mikey Madison and Demi Moore, but I think that Demi Moore is pretty much a lock in that category, and I, for one, could not be happier, because the acting job she did in The Substance, again, is not something that I ever expected out of her. She was amazing in that movie. Very bold, very, very fearless. but Honora has picked up a lot of momentum. A lot of momentum. And I think that it was funny listening to Shapiro's review of that movie, because I thought to myself, did we see the same film? I don't think we did. He's talking about Honora as a glamorization of the sex trade. I didn't see it that way at all. I didn't see it as glamorizing stripping or prostitution, not a bit. Now, I'm a sucker for small, independent movies. I love it when small, independent movies get their due. He thinks The Dune is going to win Best Picture. I don't see it. I don't see that happening because it has no momentum. There is no buzz around Dune as Best Picture. So he was saying that of all the movies that are going to stand the test of time, Dune is the only one that will. No. And as far as glamorizing the sex trade, we're talking about a movie where there's a girl working in some not so high-end strip joint in Brooklyn who ends up getting assigned to a whale that walks in, a young Russian guy with a lot of money and a very limited and a not so great command of the English language. I mean, it's good, don't get me wrong, but the club manager goes up to this girl, Annie, and says, isn't it true that you speak Russian? Because there's these Russians just walked in, and we think that you might be able to, basically shake some money out of them, which sparks a whirlwind. I wouldn't call it a romance, but a whirlwind. The story unfolds after that, where the whale pays this girl to be his girlfriend for a week, and during that time, he does he asks her if she does outcalls. She says yes. She goes to his very impressive mansion, and he pays her, and then he wants her to be his. He wants the girlfriend experience for a week. They fly to Vegas. They get married on a whim. And then, of course, once the Russian oligarch family gets wind of this, they're not very happy that their feckless kid decided on a whim to marry a stripper and a prostitute. And so then hijinks ensue. So the second half of the movie is very different from the first. And by the end, Annie has discovered some inner strength that she didn't know she had, and that she is worth more than, swinging on a pole, that she has a lot more resilience and inner strength than she thought she did when she first reported for duty, when she met this loser at the strip joint. And it's just funny to me because one of the idiotic things that Shapiro said was, really, she discovers, Annie does, that she wants to be a trad wife. No, she doesn't. She doesn't want to be a trad wife. She wants to marry a rich man and be catered to by maids and cooks and servants, and she wants a private jet, and she wants a driver, and she wants to live the good life. You think that girl wants to be stuck in the kitchen, cooking for a guy who's worth probably billions of dollars who lives in a mansion? No, she wants to be, Melania Trump. That is not a trad wife. Hey, Rachel, how you doing? By the way, after I finish this stream, I am definitely going to go watch Apple Cider Vinegar. I can't wait to watch it. So I thought, this is one of the reasons that I thought, did he and I even watch the same movie? Now, I am really proud that Sean Baker has been getting so much recognition. His movies cost like $5 to make. He doesn't really use well-known actors, or he uses complete unknowns in his movies. And he can make a movie. He can write, direct, edit, Um, he does it all. He and his wife are basically a two-man band. Let's see. That's adorable. That's adorable. I love it. I don't have that problem. And Crochetter told me that Mikey Madison was in Scream 5, and I had to tell him, hey, I didn't watch the Scream franchise. I watched the first one and the second one, but after that, I didn't keep up. So I had no idea who this girl was. And she was sensational in Anora. She was great. And once again, it's like, what it reminds me of is like, you see Pretty Woman, you see the fairy tale, and you see the Cinderella story, but what Anora is what happens after the credits roll on Pretty Woman, what really happened. Now, the difference, of course, is that in Pretty Woman, the Richard Gere character was independently wealthy because he had worked for his money. This kid is going to inherit money. And anyone who thinks that that movie glamorizes the sex industry, did he not hear the way his family spoke to her? Did he not hear? See, I don't remember that, Rachel, because I didn't remember Sadie I remember the Manson girls in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but I didn't remember her specifically. But I loved Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I thought it was great. I thought, didn't he get the memo that the reason that his family wanted to get the wedding annulled was because of her profession? Thank you, Absurdity. I barely remember Knights of Cabiria. Barely remember it, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it. But I loved Anora. I thought it was great. I thought it was a really original, fresh idea. And I thought that the way that it was presented was really, really good. I thought that the addition of the Russian element was brilliant. I thought the acting was fantastic. Did she? That's fantastic. I mean, at the end, I think that what she ends up learning is that she's better than that. And that no matter what profession she chooses in the future, and no matter what man she chooses in the future, that she won't permit herself to be treated like a pile of trash again because of what she does for a living. And it was terrific. So I think Anora is going to win Best Picture. I think Demi Moore is going to win Best Actress. I think that Adrian Brody is going to win Best Actor. Best Supporting is going to go to Kieran Culkin. And I have something to say about Best Song, by the way. And Best Director, I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's Sean Baker. I hope so. But it may go to the guy, whatever his name is. Is it Brady Corbett, who directed The Brutalist? Because The Brutalist was nominated for so many awards. And I think that it's probably going to walk away with fewer awards than it may have anticipated getting. I think that Amelia Perez's only award is going to be for Zoe Saldana, and I'm not mad about that, okay? I'm not mad. I cannot resent Zoe Saldana. So, and I hope in the future that Zoe Saldana is offered better roles. You know, roles that don't have her in front of a green screen where she can actually act. That would be terrific. And I would appreciate that. Hollywood, give Zoe Saldana better roles. So, I got curious last night. And I was thinking to myself, all right, so if all of the Amelia Perez songs are now out of the running in Best Song, and the fact that Miley Cyrus's song in The Last Showgirl was overlooked very, very unfairly, in my opinion. So what's left? Well, we've got the Diane Warren song, Journey. I listened to it. I was not wowed, but Diane Warren has been nominated so many times and she's never won. So I think that this may be her year. We've got, there's another song. Let me see. There's the Elton John song from the documentary about his life. Best. Okay. Best Song Oscars. And the funny thing is that when I was looking at Diane Warren's astonishing output, and how many songs she's written, the woman, to me, I mean, the closest comparison that I can come up with is she's like the Stephen King of songwriting. This woman has been writing songs for so many decades, and she's written so many ballads and so many hits, including, and I did not know that she had written Blame It on the Rain. I had absolutely no idea. But she has written an astonishing number of songs. It seems like she sits down at a piano or whatever she composes. Yeah, at a piano, and boom, 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 out they come. But I have to say that a lot of the songs that have been nominated that she's written have been pretty underwhelming. Okay, we've got Like a Bird from Sing Sing, which is good. We've got the two shitty songs from Amelia Perez. But then I listened to the Elton John song. It's called Never Too Late, and it's a duet with Brandi Carlile, who, I mean, you guys can rake me over the coals as much as you want. I've never heard of this woman. And the song is fantastic. It sounds like old Elton John from the 1970s. It's not the garbage that he's been writing for years. It sounds like the 1970s Elton John, Bernie Taupin compositions that we all love. Daniel, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Someone Save My Life Tonight, Don't Let the Sun Go Down on Me. And this Brandi Carlile woman, again, I am speaking as someone who just found out that this woman exists. What a remarkable voice. She reminds me a lot of Katie Lang. The woman is such a find. And the way that she duets with Elton John is incredible. And that is my pick for best song. Like, if I had my druthers, I would give it to the Elton John song. It is brilliant. Brilliant. Probably one of the best songs that he's written in years. And so give it up for Elton John. Give it up for him. So that is my pick for best song. Well, yeah, I have come to find out that she's sort of like in the same league as Katie Lang, the Indigo Girls, Melissa Etheridge. What a revelation. Like, great. So this year, or last year, I discovered Cynthia Erivo. This year, I discovered Brandi Carlile, and I could not be happier. I had the same reaction to her as I did to Katie Lang the first time I heard her sing live. I think I told the story before. I went to a show at the 930 Club, and she was opening for an act whose name I have since forgotten. And she took to the stage, and I was in the sound booth talking to a friend of mine. And I stopped dead in my tracks. And I turned around. I said, "Who is that?" And my friend told me, "Oh, that's Katie Lang." And remember, she writes her name KD, lowercase. And I was so intrigued by how androgynous she was and by the incredible crystal clear purity of her voice. And it's rare that I go to a show and an opening act grabs me the way Katie Lang did. That was the same feeling that I had listening to this duet and then going and hearing her cover Madman Across the Water and listening to her music. Absolutely incredible. Incredible. So now I am a fan for life. And those of you who haven't listened to her music, do yourselves a favor. If you've listened to Defying Gravity 1,000 times and you want a new female singer to fangirl over, Brandi Carlile is, again, a revelation. Absolutely incredible. A voice of a generation, just like Cynthia Erivo, but very different. So I am going to be looking forward to tomorrow. Hello, Crochetter. Oh, really? Rachel, what are you going to go see at 9:30? Crochetter, I don't want to put you in a weird position, but if you're at home and you're not otherwise occupied, would you like to come on and chat with me for a bit? I can put a link for StreamYard in the chat and you can hop on if you are so inclined. For those of you who didn't know, Crochetter returned to YouTube last night. And he was lovely. He was talking about to us. Oh, good. Okay. Hang on. I will put the link in the chat. And my bestie, I hope you have a great time, Rachel. I really do. I can't remember the last concert I saw at 9:30. Probably Trouble Funk. I think the Trouble Funk was the last time I went to the 9:30 Club. And it was very, very sparsely attended, and that made me very sad. But Trouble Funk is Trouble Funk, and what a great show they put on. As always, I've never been to a bad Trouble Funk show. And if I'm in DC and Trouble Funk is playing, you're goddamn right. I am going to be there, front and center. So as we wait for Crochetter to come on, let me see if there's any other Oscar stuff. Oh. Yeah, that's true. Anna did bully me into watching Fallout. She would not leave me the fuck alone. And I was trying to be polite and kind of put her off because I don't play video games. And so the thought of watching a movie that's based on a video game that I was unfamiliar with and that I've never, seen or I knew nothing about was not appealing to me. And I'm really, really glad that I gave in to her demands. I haven't finished watching it. But what I saw in the beginning, it's a post-apocalyptic, it's like an after nuclear war kind of thing. And it's a really interesting, it's not an original idea, but the way it's presented is very, very original. Very original. And I thought it was great. So, yeah, I liked it too, Artem. And I was very, very glad to see Kyle MacLachlan. Yeah, Anna is, She's going to force me to watch The Last of Us. Absolutely. She's going to force me to watch it. Since we're talking about, like, you know, zombie apocalypses and post-nuclear whatevers, why the hell not? Why not? Yeah, sure. I'll give it a watch. But for right now, what I'm going to do is, after I pull the plug on the stream, I am definitely going to go watch Apple Cider Vinegar. And I really can't wait. Look who's here.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my darling.
How are you?
Let me quickly stop this here and that
Thank
we
you.
have... I had to quickly put my teeth in.
I see. I get it.
Because reasons.
Go ahead and flash those. You need to close your window. You're echoing.
Oh, oh, stupid thing. How has it worked? This is off. This is off.
Okay.
Am I still echoing?
No, I'm echoing because you have a window open. You're watching the stream live somewhere.
So now everything is closed.
Have you closed YouTube?
Yeah.
No, you haven't. Maybe put on some headphones or some earpieces. Okay.
You know, guys, don't be irritated. I have an external mic now. Everything is a little bit different.
Okay. I'm still echoing, goddammit.
I don't know what to do.
Are you sure that you don't have the stream open in another window?
Yeah. Oh, God. Faggots on camera.
Hello?
Hello?
I'm echoing.
Damn it.
You know what? I can live with the echoing, even though it's annoying, because I'm so glad to talk to you. Do you have a speaker that's turned up?
No, everything is down. And funny enough, hello? I don't have, do I have a signal in my, yes, I have.
It says turn your mic down. It's probably echoing into the headset.
Hang on, guys. Hang on, guys.
Okay, so some people in the audience are saying that they don't hear the echo, so I'm going to get over myself. And if you can hear the echo in the audience,
Clara, I'm so
that's
sorry.
okay. No, it
Where's
doesn't
Mr.
matter.
Editor? Where's
Carson,
Mr. Editor?
Carson, it doesn't matter. All right.
Okay.
So tell me how excited you are for the Oscars.
Oh, I want everything. I want the red carpet. I want at least our usual suspects who have delivered in the last months on their red carpet to deliver really their very best. Mm-hmm. That would be so lovely to see. And just for your audience, we are talking about Demi Moore, Cynthia Enviro, Ariana Grande, which have been so far almost never been a miss. They have always delivered. They looked amazing. They had, yeah.
We want them serving up Luke's. That's what we go to Hollywood for. That's what we turn to Hollywood for God's sake. Get those stylists out there and make sure that everybody is turned on the red carpet.
Yes. Because we know, for everybody who has followed so far the awards season for 2024, there are a lot of categories that are fairly to say very safe, who will be winning the Oscar on Sunday. I don't think there will be not a lot of surprises. Mm-hmm. I personally would enjoy to have one or two surprises, but at least make everything beautiful, pretty, and spectacular to look at. And I know Clara and we are both looking very much forward to the opening number of the Academy Awards, because no songs from the nominated movies will be presented.
Thank God.
Perez. But at least Cynthia Enviro and Ariana Grande will be some sort of incorporated in the opening. And yes, little things.
So here's the good news. Gascon will be appearing at the Oscars. And what do we want Cynthia Erivo to do?
Oh, well, we have. I'm very much undecisive on what would be the shadiest way. But the most simple way would be for her to stand up and just give her best wicked war cry through the whole auditorium, because drama. Mm-hmm. That would be amazing. And I hope maybe she is seated right behind Cynthia. Something like this, you know. And I want to know if Netflix is paying now for the trip.
I'm sure that they did, because she made her terms known. But it is going to be fabulously awkward when they put all the best actress, when they put that photo array of the best actress nominees. It's going to be a thing. And I can't wait.
I wonder if they are working again with fake applause, which they are always doing for the audiences at home when there is a problematic category or a problematic thing in general. And then they are playing the plate-in applause for the audience at home, so that will not hear the awkward silence or a booing or something.
Right. I'm going to go off camera for a second because I've got to run and get my vape. So you entertain the people.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know how to entertain the people.
Oh, after 30 years, yeah. At least something that I have in common with Pamela Anderson. Will she be at the Academy Awards? I hope so, even though she's not nominated. I hope we get a glimpse of her and her no makeup look. And at least, yeah, she will be there. I'm not. I'm not. This is fine. I have a lot of streaming services. I have a lot of browsers where I can watch everything. So this will be absolutely fabulous. And yes, as Clara said before already, it is 2020, the whole movie season of 2024. Oh, look who's back. It was an amazing year for female movies, for surprising us with The Last Showgirl and also with Wicked.
Right.
I cannot imagine what would have happened if there would be a different creative team behind Wicked.
Right, I agree.
It could have been a complete disaster. Thankfully, we have the gayest heterosexual giving us Wicked. Yes, I'm very much fangirling about the whole Wicked thing, but I don't care. It makes me very, very happy.
Yep, exactly. So, you know, one of the things that just occurred to me when you said that you had been in the business for 30 years.
Yeah.
That is exactly the amount of time that the Pamela Anderson character worked as a showgirl in The Last Showgirl.
Yeah.
And so I think that as a performer yourself,
yeah,
a musical performer, a singer and a dancer, I think that you can relate to the aspect of aging in an industry where, yes, there are older actors, dramatic actors, who can be on stage basically until they drop dead. But when you're a musical performer and a dancer, there does come a point where it becomes harder and harder. Even when you audition for roles that are specifically meant for older actors.
Yeah, definitely. I catch at auditions, always is a lot, but a lot of times where colleagues of mine that I have grew up with in the industry are starting to wearing wigs, where the makeup is different, where they're feeling the inner child so strong that they know, oh my God, yes, I could pull off 35, but I am 35. And then, unfortunately, they will be not very successful at the audition because the jury who is deciding, do I give this person the job or don't, they are not remembering you at 35. They are seeing you in the audition right in this moment with 55. And there are these two things in the industry. And I think it does not really matter if it's musical or if it's movie. Where you are... What was my point to this? Fuck. I wanted to sound intelligent. Damn it. Oh yeah, where not only yourself are changing over the years or over decades, also the industry is changing. And to keep up with both of it and walk this fine line of being contemporary as what you are, to deliver something for a business that has also changed. What is the standard now? You're always wondering this. What is the standard now? What do they want to see from me? And I have the same problem when I go to auditions. Will they see, do they want to see still Carsten with 35? Or do they want the grown-up version? And this can be such a hit and miss. And I would love to know, especially with Pamela Anderson now, if they have written the movie for her. Or
Well,
did they have her in mind the whole time?
the director did.
Oh,
The,
fantastic.
the director read the script and sent it over to her immediately. I think that the director was friends with one of her sons. And that's how she got the script over to Pamela Anderson. And there's a scene in the movie that I think that I'm not suggesting that this is what Karsten does, okay? But it also reminds me of the wonderful movie Topsy-Turvy about the composition of the Mikado, where there's a big controversy with the costume designer and one of the actors who insists on wearing a girdle. And how that throws the costume off and everything. But there's a scene in the Last Showgirl where Pamela Anderson is in the locker room with Jamie Lee Curtis, the locker room of the casino. And Jamie Lee Curtis is taking her clothes off. And you can see the sheer amount of shapewear that is required for her to maintain the figure that she needs to have to walk around in that outfit that she has to wear to serve drinks at the casino. And you also see what her body actually looks like under the pantyhose and everything.
Yeah.
And the fact that Jamie Lee Curtis had the guts to present that. Because when you first see her, you see her face, which looks like beef jerky, and her terribly outdated makeup and her fried hair and everything. And then you see the real, actual body of an older woman underneath all of that shapewear. And you think, my God, she had to schlep around the casino, serving drinks, being constricted within an inch of her life. And it's still not good enough because her face is her face, her hands are her hands. And there's also a close-up in the movie that I thought was very interesting of Pamela Anderson's hands when she's auditioning for a role, when she lies to the jury and says that she's in her 30s, which she clearly is not. And because, the hands always give it away.
Hashtag Sarah Jessica Parker. And she was in her 30s.
And Cheetah Rivera, who had her face stretched, but you could look at her hands and you could see,
But the leg was still up there.
Exactly.
And even I had to wear shapewear on stage for the producers.
So you did wear shapewear, so never mind.
No, because I had to wear a corsage so that I would fit in the Chrysler Building dress. And this is amazing because this corsage, it is doing something to you. I bet most ladies who have ever worn
It's a corset. It's a corset. The corsage is what the flower that you pin to your.
So no, the corset. A corset, because it's doing something with your whole body posture. And then suddenly, even though I have never done drag before, you're feeling yourself in this dress. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. You have to do what you have to do.
Yeah, and it's not that I had a choice.
But you were fabulous, though.
Yeah.
Tell everybody the role that you played in The Producers.
I started out as a cross swing for the whole show, for every male character in there. And then at the end of the show, I switched over to the character parts and Roger Debris. And Roger Debris, that was... I hate the one thing that I hated about that part was that I had, when I was not on stage and I was just there as a standby, I had to do Springtime for Hitler every single time so that I would have the air and the energy to deliver when I was on as Roger Debris. Because this fucking 18 minutes are sucking everything out of you. Yeah. So that was the only thing that I hated about that part. But otherwise, wow.
And you know what's sad? Is that the people who don't get the joke of The Producers, which is basically everybody in the modern world, Mel Brooks would never be able to write that today. Never.
No. And I don't know even if he would be interested to write something like this nowadays. But look at the material, or his own material that he could look back on. First the movie, then the Broadway show, another movie. This is how great this material was at the end. Amazing. By the way, hello, Anna. I just wanted to say hello.
Yeah, Anna and Karsten are the two friends who bully me into watching things. But they're always right, though.
Stupid, annoying people.
But they're always right, so.
How dare we, Anna? How dare we?
Okay, so we know that Wicked is going to win for Best Costume and Best
Production
Set Design. Yeah, Production Design. Obviously.
Yeah.
Hashtag 9 million tulips.
Yeah. We need 9 million little Oscars driven in. Here, for every tulip. Thank you for giving us 9 million tulips. And then when you didn't need the tulips anymore, just chop off the top and make the rooftops from
Munchkinland.
Thank you. Of the houses and reuse them.
By the way, this is your reminder that if you haven't seen Wicked, you need to.
Really, you need to. This is not us doing crazy talk. And we don't get a dime for it. And then after you have experienced Wicked, please go to YouTube and watch movie reactions to Wicked, but only the heterosexual guys.
Heterosexual men reacting to Wicked is fabulous. It's a great subgenre. Yes, and everybody's crying.
Yeah.
What was it? I was very surprised to see the number of people who believe that Wicked should not win for Best Sound, which is crazy to me. When you see the work that they had to do to mic the actors, and especially Cynthia Erivo flying around on that harness, and the number of mics that they put on her, and the sound. I mean, obviously it was edited afterwards to make it clean, but it was remarkable. Because even when you watch the outtakes of the rehearsals, and you hear her voice, and how incredible it is, and how little they probably needed to tweak. But then the mics aren't picking up the crackling of the costumes or the hat or whatever. It's an amazing feat.
There was this one little short clip where they showed a little bit of the recording, and then one quick edit to an elderly gentleman, Mr. Sound Editor himself, sitting in a corner somewhere on front of a little laptop, and was really doing magic, clicking between the separate microphones of Cynthia.
Incredible.
And basically doing the magic there.
Absolutely
oh my God,
incredible.
Yes, Dylan. Monica Bellucci is beautiful.
Well, she's in another world. She's like Sophia Loren level.
Yeah. I don't know what she was doing in Beetlejuice, but, well, she was there, and it was fabulous.
Yeah, her beauty is otherworldly.
I have not even recognized her from Bram Stoker's Dracula von Francis Ford Coppola. I have not noticed that she was the main whore on the bed who's biting into Keanu Reeves' dick.
Yeah, she is absolutely magnificent.
Superb.
So, are you going to catch up on all the other Oscar nominees?
I was thinking when I was walking home from running my errands, if I can pull off Nosferatu, The Last Showgirl, Anora, I cannot because I have to buy it.
Right.
Yeah, but these two, maybe I do them tomorrow, just to get in the mood for the red carpet.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know neither you or me, we have not time for watching or sitting through 4 hours of The Brutalist.
No, absolutely not. And in this country, the only option is to buy it. And I'm not spending $25 to buy a movie that I may or may not enjoy. So forget it.
Oh, I know I will not rewatch Anora.
Right.
I will not rewatch it. Oh shit, I have also to watch Conclave.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I keep on leaving Conclave out. Now, I think that I think that I misspoke earlier because I totally forgot that Conclave exists. But it may be between Anora and Conclave, but I do think that Anora is going to win Best Picture. That's what it's looking like at the moment.
Conclave would be the commercial decision, and Anora the independence movies. We were supporting little movies.
Right.
And Wicked would be, well, maybe next year. After John M. Chu is killing us all with part 2 in November and make us bawling our eyes out because of the drama of the second act.
That's right, which, by the way, is much darker than the first one. The first one was dark as fuck, but the second one is even darker.
But at least we are getting Cynthia and Vero in this fabulous black coat.
Which we love.
The black coat that she's wearing from the one picture from the second movie. And it is such a different vibe of power. And I bet she's embracing all of it. All of it.
Now, I saw Smell of Rain and CCP. I saw Conclave in DC. And I thought that the overall production was extraordinary and the acting was superb. Superb. And what a great cast.
But there's also no surprise element to it because, this is a supreme cast with all the men and Isabella Rossellini. There's no fail in the cast. There's basically, you get robbed of the surprise moment of fantastic acting because they will act fantastic. But who could have known, sorry when I come back to this, who could have known that Ariana Grande would transcend to screen, on the big screen, in such an epic way when you only know her from Saturday Night Live?
Right.
And most people cannot do this step. She did, and we don't have to talk about Cynthia Erivo. I think she's a screen whore when it comes to this.
Well, I mean, who knew that a contemporary Broadway star who is pretty much unknown in Hollywood? I mean, yeah, she was in, she was in the stage version of The Color Purple.
Yeah.
And she's been in movies. And
one-time nominee. She was a nominee for an Academy Award for her work in Harriet, which has no one seen.
Yeah.
It's not her fault.
No, it's okay. But what a year for her.
Yeah. In every spectrum, on screen, on TV, on social media, again when she is going to kill the Hollywood Bowl as Jesus Christ, and then moderating the Tonys, hosting them. She is really, really everywhere. And yes, she did not get the amount of money that she is worth for in Wicked. But first of all, she has this fantastic contract deal as a producer for the next 5 years for Universal Pictures. And also she has all the other things. She can choose. The world is now her oyster.
As it should be.
Yeah. For an exceptional talent like her, yes. Ariana Grande, she has still Saturday Night Live. She has her big pop music career ongoing.
She has her makeup line.
And a makeup line. And maybe I'm crazy, but there is this rumor that she is maybe playing Audrey Hepburn in a biopic.
Right.
Why not?
I mean, honestly, I wish that they would leave Audrey Hepburn alone. When Jennifer Love Hewitt played her, I was absolutely appalled because she is not Audrey Hepburn.
No, not with that butt. Sorry when I'm butt shaming here, my ladies.
Or that face, no offense. But Audrey Hepburn was just angelic.
Yeah.
And Jennifer Love Hewitt did not capture Audrey Hepburn, not even close.
No, and also I think Jennifer Love Hewitt is fairly limited when it comes to portraying the talents of Audrey Hepburn. Because she was also basically doing in her time everything.
Yeah.
And Ariana Grande would be a much better choice now.
I agree. Now, let's
switch. Do we need
this
movie? I don't know.
Let's switch for a second. Let's talk about the horrendous year for Disney.
Oh.
We have Captain America, that is a giant flop.
Yeah.
And soon we will have Snow White to kick around.
This month, Clara.
This month, 20 days.
We talked last year about it, and now it's here. But it's unfortunately nowhere to be found on social media.
Nope.
Where's Gal Gadot? Where's Miss Sackler?
They're in hiding.
Why is nobody playing with puppies or eating spicy wings or is doing a Vogue, my best looks of the last 20 years? Nobody's doing anything.
Disney is trying so hard to bury this movie. They're making their greatest efforts to bury it. But apparently, Captain America cost somewhere in the neighborhood of like $300 million, as did Snow White. So, and it's funny because this morning, Negz was saying, I don't understand why haven't the stockholders, rebelled? And I said, well, I mean, it's really up for the board of directors to put their foot down and say, what are you doing? And again, I mean, these movies are in development, or it's like a 2-year arc to film these movies. So they had no way of knowing that by the time these movies came out, that the entire national zeitgeist or the international zeitgeist would have changed. And now we don't have the daily, it's at the Daily Caller's Snow White with Brett Cooper. I'm guessing they've shelved that. So this is, I'm guessing, the only Snow White we're going to be seeing.
It is so unfortunate.
Hey, Judy. But it's going to be bad. It's going to be a bloodbath, and I cannot wait to hear all the negative reviews. The critics are going to be sharpening their knives and whipping out their thesauruses to come up with the most vicious, angry words to describe how much they hate this movie.
Yes, basically they're forced to do it now with these circumstances, because who would believe them? Nobody is blind. We all saw the trailers. Mm-hmm. What is there to save? Mm-hmm. What will you point out? Oh my God, Rachel Zegler's acting abilities are outstanding. No. Not when you get almost the same story from Snow White and the Huntsman.
Exactly. And not when you've made this big deal out of modernizing the story to the point that there are no dwarves in it. So you don't cast real actors, but instead you come up with those busted, really disturbing, like nightmare dreamscape dwarves in CGI. Mm-hmm. And you miss the whole point of Snow White's relationship with the dwarves from the story.
Yeah.
And so everybody's mad, and nobody wins.
She's basically, as Snow White, intruding the house of 7 dwarfs, yes, laying in their bed, messing everything up, and then on the next day, she makes them now clean the whole house in this version.
Correct.
Not like in the animated version where she's thankful for them to let her stay. She's cleaning everything. No. The dwarf has to clean everything.
That's right.
And I don't want to see her going against Gal Gadot. I want to see her falling in love with the prince.
Me too.
Do we get a glass coffin? I have not even seen a still of anything.
I don't know. I mean, I know that in the trailer for the Brett Cooper movie, you could see the apple. I haven't seen an apple in any of these trailers. So I don't even know if there's an apple involved in this one. Because there's no prince.
Oh my God.
I'm going to go off camera for a second again because I need to get water. So once again, entertain the masses, my friend.
Yes. I mean, imagine you are playing Snow White and then you are telling us that you don't need a prince. And everybody is waiting for this iconic moment when she is in the glass coffin and all the animals are coming around and everybody is crying and are suffering because, oh my God, our poor Snow White. And you feel so bad for her because it was not her fault that she was eating the apple. And you are waiting for the prince to come along, open the glass casket, to give her the kiss of life. And now everything allegedly is not happening. Instead, she's fighting the evil queen. If the evil queen is not turning into a motherfucking dragon and is scaring the shit out of the children, like the animated version did with me back in the day, I will be very, very, very angry. And then maybe we will see each other again here on Clara's channel or on my channel. Talking about the Snow White disaster. I mean, we will talk about it, don't get me wrong. Because to fuck up the very first animated movie that was nominated for an Oscar back in the day, and who got these 7 little Academy Awards, just as a thank you for Disney to giving us this movie in the past. Oh, hello.
Hello.
And there she is.
I'm drinking out of my wicked tumbler.
Of course you are.
Of course I am.
If we would have planned it, I would have get one of my wicked tumblers.
You see, listen, 2 people, look at our ages, and we are totally in the tank for Wicked. Totally in the tank.
Yes. And I told you a million times in the last months, who would have guessed?
Yeah.
Based on the trailer, I thought, okay, they sound amazing. But knowing the stage version very well, I didn't know what to expect.
Well, it's funny because just so that you guys know the backstory, I had no intention of seeing this movie. And Karsten would not leave me alone. Karsten bombarded me with trailer after short, after this, after that, and pictures of the costumes. And I was like, God damn it. I've never seen the stage show. I didn't know any of them. I had heard Popular, but I didn't know any of the other songs. And I didn't really care. And he would not stop until one day I was sitting in the house, and it was a very, 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 very cold day, like bitterly cold. And I was by myself, and I thought, why not go to the movies? Might as well go. And I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was wonderful. It was like the good old days of the golden age of Hollywood musicals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I love.
And what happened after the movie, Clara, when you went to the store to tell Negz about it?
Well, I sat through Defying Gravity, and I burst into tears. And the to be continued slate went up, and I ran out of the theater, sobbing. And thank God I bought popcorn at the theater because I had napkins. So I was drying my eyes, and I went to the store, and I walked in, and Negz took one look at me, and I burst into tears again, and he thought something terrible had happened. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I just saw Wicked, and it was so amazing. And the way it ends, there's a song, Defying Gravity, and I was going on, and he was just like, he didn't know what to make of it. He'd never seen me like that. Like the only times he's ever seen me cry like that have been times when I was upset. He thought somebody had died, or he thought that something terrible had happened at the house, or I'd gotten bad news from somebody. No. It was because the movie was that good, and the ending was that good.
Yeah. And thanks to that, we have now fantastic memes of bulldogs riding an escalator in the house to define gravity upwards or downwards.
It's magnificent.
We have young Asian girls bawling their eyes out in the matinee in the cinema and going afterwards to a karaoke bar to scream Defying Gravity. And nobody cares if they hit the notes or if it sounds like. It's a mood.
So I didn't have an equally strong feeling about any of the other movies. I thought September 5th was outstanding. I was surprised that it was nominated for an Oscar. It's a fantastic movie. But again, it's a very, very small movie, and it's a very niche movie.
Where have you watched it?
I watched it on Prime. I rented it.
Okay.
And I am still waiting to watch like a complete unknown, because the trailers are amazing, and Timothée Chalamet does a great job, and it's a moment in Dylan's life that I'm very, very interested in, and I am a Bob Dylan fan, and I cannot wait to see New York in the 1965. And I cannot wait to see the costumes and everything else.
That also came a little bit out of nowhere.
It did.
Who's casting Timothée Chalamet for this part? Mr. Wonka, Mr. Dune.
And that was another one I didn't want to see because I thought Timothée Chalamet playing Bob Dylan? What? But he did his own singing. He did his own performing.
Yeah.
And he I couldn't tell. When I was watching the trailers, I thought that he was lip syncing, but he wasn't. It was incredible.
Hmm.
So I'm looking forward to seeing it.
I have another recommendation, if I can. I forgot the title of the movie, goddamn myself, but it is also on Prime, a new biopic of Amy Winehouse.
Oh,
And this girl, she's onto something. And she's also singing everything herself. And she sounds exactly like Amy Winehouse.
wow. Okay.
But I forgot the title, damn it. But you can Google it. New Amy Winehouse biopic. And it was nice. It was not a spectacular movie, but she was great.
Okay, great. That's fantastic. Because I'm also looking for some new movies to watch. I don't want to watch The Apprentice. I've had enough Donald Trump. I don't need to watch him in fictional form. Even though the premise of the movie is very, very interesting, and I love Jeremy Strong. I think he's a great actor. I just don't want to see it.
Thank you. The smell of rain. Yes, Clara and me, we are both in the market for The Monkey.
Yeah, because you know that when it comes to dramatizing Stephen King, it's very hit or miss.
Yes, very.
And people are saying that The Monkey is really, really, really good.
And very different. As a movie in itself.
Right.
It's not a straightforward Stephen King adaptation.
Because we were lied to.
Yes.
Straight up lied to about the new version of Salem's Lot, which is so bad. And even though people are saying, oh, the movie version that came out with David Soul was the definitive, no. There has never been a really good version of Salem's Lot made. It has yet to be made.
Yes, and probably as a TV show, because there is so much story.
Right.
You don't have to press it into a one movie.
Exactly.
Oh, thank you, Tiffany. Yes, the Winehouse movie is Back to Black. That's the name.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
But what else is out that's new that's worth seeing? I can't think of anything. Oh, and don't you love the fact that Gladiator 2 has basically disappeared?
Yes, the only talking point is Denzel Washington.
As well he should be.
Yeah. And I'm sure, even though I have not watched it, but I don't think that Denzel Washington would take this movie not serious, because he's always in his, whatever he's doing, he's very, very serious.
Well, he's not serious in this one.
Oh.
He's very campy in the movie. He has a ball running around in his toga. He really does. And being this maximum villain. I mean, you've got the twin campy emperors, but Denzel Washington, he does play it. It's camp.
Okay, maybe this was the task. Do we know? I don't know.
Hi,
I have
Negz.
not seen one interview. Corbin
Hi, my love.
2028. I know, that's right. We need little flags.
I watched this movie review. It was by accident. I didn't mean to watch it. And some kid was super triggered because apparently Denzel Washington has been cast to play Magneto. And it's like this alternate universe telling of X-Men. And the kid was so angry. And I thought, there's certain actors that if you put them in a movie, they immediately class it up. Judi Dench is one.
Yeah.
And Denzel Washington is one. There's several. Morgan Freeman is one.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
There you go.
Oh, you have two pages of script for me? Okay, I do it. And make two great scenes.
But if you haven't seen Gladiator 2 yet, it's worth watching for the Colosseum scenes. sharks in the Coliseum are even more ridiculous than sharks in the Seine, and Denzel Washington. Everything else about the movie is completely forgettable.
I mean, the lead actor, I mean, he's cute and all, but I don't know who he is. I have never seen him before.
No.
And it's not Russell Crowe. It's not a young Russell Crowe.
There is something else that you and I need to do. Well, a couple of more things. The James Bond franchise is no longer under the control of the Broccolis.
I read that.
Now it is under the control of Amazon. And you know what that means.
Probably. Tell us more. The only thing I know is that Daniel Craig is astoundingly pissed off about that deal.
A lot of people are pissed off about that deal. Now, Daniel Craig was already on his way out as Bond. What this means is that they're going to do to James Bond what Lucasfilm did to Star Wars and Indiana Jones. They're going to have 1 million spin-offs. There are going to be TV shows. Moneypenny is going to get a show. M is going to get a show. Everybody's going to get their own spin-off, and they're going to run it into the ground, and they're going to destroy the franchise. We're going to get the young Bond. We're going to get the older Bond. We're going to get the, doddering Bond, and it's going to be a problem.
So they're killing the franchise by doing, of course, far too much. And it's not that very special event where you have every 4 to 5 years a great action movie.
With a great opening action sequence.
Yes, and a song.
That's right.
A very special song. Oh, damn it.
So it's, based on what Lucasfilm did to Star Wars, I'm not looking forward to what they're about to come out with, and I'm kind of dreading to see who they cast to play Bond.
Yeah, apparently the director that they wanted for the new Bond has already cancelled all the candidates of which were waiting in the wings to play Bond. Mm-hmm. And he said nobody of them is Bond. Bye.
Really?
Allegedly, yeah.
So who should play the new Bond?
I'm still, oh God, me and names, Clara. You know I have a problem with that. Not Mr. Spider-Man, even though he's adorable, but he's not James Bond.
Absolutely not. And he's too young.
Loki from the TV show. You have to help me with the names here.
You mean Tom Hiddleston?
Yes. I really, really like Tom Hiddleston, especially in his smoking. And the other one would be Idris Elba.
Okay, my 2 top picks, Idris Elba or Tom Hardy. Only Tom Hardy may be too short.
Maybe.
And Idris Elba may be too old.
How old is Idris Elba now?
He's in his 50s.
Oh, well. He can play that for 20 years.
But I think that of all of them, maybe Tom Hiddleston, but I'm still rooting for Tom Hardy.
I think this is our personal choice here.
Yeah,
Idris
of course
Elba
it is.
Would be very professional, but I know that you really like him, and I like my Tom Hiddleston.
No, Tom Hiddleston would be a very good choice.
Yeah, my other now Nicholas Hoult is not James Bond.
He's a good one too.
Or the guy from Saltburn, the tall one.
That guy too, yes.
This would be the younger generation Bonds, the candidates.
Or the guy
30s.
Or the guy who played Fiyero in Wicked.
Well, he's gay.
So?
Well, okay, we had Sam Smith presenting a song for an older James Bond movie, so that happened. So maybe they're open enough in 2025. Jonathan Bailey as James Bond.
But I think that it's going to be not good. Not
And
the
depending on
choice
what we are
of.
getting, do we get a movie, a TV show, or what will it be?
It's going to be all of the above.
No,
It's like,
Nex, you will not be James Bond. Stop that.
all right, I'm going to have you entertain the people again, and I will be right back.
Jacob Elordi, thank you. I tell you, the smell of rain, me with names sometimes, if I'm not focused on something particular where a lot of names are involved, I'm the guy when I come to the theater, to a new show, I'm the last one who's learning all the names because I'm too busy learning my lines. And then basically I scream and yell in the rehearsal time, hey you girl, hey you boy, hey you young man, hey you old fart. Because I cannot remember the names and I always have to say, I'm sorry guys. And I have to explain myself. It is terrible. It is truly, truly terrible. Yeah, Jacob Elordi, I saw today, I was skipping around and I saw then that Priscilla, the new biopic of Priscilla Presley, is on Netflix. And to my surprise, Jacob Elordi is playing Elvis. A young, tall, thin Elvis. Oh, well. Maybe. I have not seen it so far. Next, James Bond. Next, you are far too busy. You are underestimating the tasks that you have already on your list. I'm just saying. You have a lot to do.
Hang on, I'm sending a text. Now let's touch on the death of Gene Hackman.
What a life.
What an incredible career.
Yes.
You know, from The French Connection, directed by William Friedkin, director of The Exorcist, which had one of the greatest car chases ever captured on film, and it was a 1970s movie. It was part of that amazing arc of 1970s movies, from Serpico to Taxi Driver, The French Connection, The Godfather. I mean, what an incredible time. Raging Bull, the great movies that were coming out by these new young directors from, you know, who were being given a lot of freedom to make dark, like time-appropriate movies that fit the national mood. And The French Connection is amazing. The Conversation, if you haven't seen The Conversation, it is an extraordinary movie of deep paranoia.
My favorite
Wonderful.
of Gene Hackman will always be the Poseidon Inferno.
The Poseidon Adventure.
And
how great was that era of the Irwin Allen disaster movies? I am such a sucker for the Towering Inferno, Airport, the Poseidon Adventure with that great song, and Shelley Winters.
Yes.
And everything else.
I can hold my breath 2 minutes. Yes, I can.
Fantastic. We can't forget him in The Birdcage. That's why when I see, like, I mean, I know that these headline writers are very young, and that they're using Google to figure out who the hell is this old man and what did he do in Hollywood. And it's like Gene Hackman from Unforgiven. Well, okay, but think about everything that he did. I mean, his career is so wide-ranging.
Yes.
And what strange circumstances that he and his wife were found mummified. The one dog was dead, but the others weren't.
Mm-hmm.
So initially the report we got was no evidence of foul play. What do you mean no evidence of foul play? The daughter said, well, maybe it was carbon monoxide poisoning. And it turns out that that wasn't it. So now what?
I mean, I would have guessed some sort of accident in the house has happened. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, how old was he? 85 or 95?
95.
I mean, good for him. On the other hand, Joan Rivers would say, why are you asking that he's dead? He was 95, for God's sake. This is
Right,
what
but
Joan
his-
Rivers would say.
But his wife was 63.
Yeah. And both
know?
together, mummified with a dog.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we need a biopic. I don't know to find out what happened.
But it really put me in the mood to go back and look at some of his old movies. And I'm going to bully Negz into watching The French Connection. I think he would really love it. Like, if you guys have seen the movie Heat, and you loved Heat, and Heat was great. I mean, it was the first time that Pacino and De Niro appeared on screen together, speaking to one another.
Mm-hmm.
And the amazing car chase in Heat, that is all a tip of the hat to The French Connection. So I know that I'm shilling very hard for The French Connection, but it really is an incredible movie.
Very, very handcrafted.
Exactly.
From a great period of time for movies.
Mm-hmm. Truly great movies. And then there was something else that I wanted to bring up with you. Okay, so we discussed Bond and we discussed Gene Hackman. And my mind always goes in all these directions because I'm thinking of what I want to bring up that's movie related. Anyway, I think that they're going to have a hell of a time doing that in memoriam wall at the Oscars, because when a legend like Gene Hackman dies, you've got to give him something additional.
Yes, for this career, over this time span, over so many decades. I mean, somebody was doing already on YouTube a list of his accomplishments over the decades, because there were so many.
Yeah.
And maybe Cynthia can sing a song while they show a little bit. It's just me dreaming, you know. I'm really surprised. There's another movie. I don't know where to watch it. Maria, with Angelina Jolie as Maria Callas. Because I want to know, how can you fuck up a biopic about Maria Callas?
In this country, it's on Prime.
Oh. Here it's not. No, I looked up yesterday. As you guys have guessed correctly, I have a little bit more time in the moment, as long as my teeth situation is going on.
You know, I haven't seen any of that guy's movies. I haven't seen the Diana one, I haven't seen the Jackie O one, and I haven't seen Maria.
Yeah, but to fuck up that life, or any of these ladies' lives, is something extraordinary.
I mean, I heard that Kristen Stewart was great as Diana, but I'm having a hard time buying it.
I only saw the stills and the one trailer that is out there. That's it. And I don't hear her in interviews or having a big moment somewhere. Oh, David Lynch, yeah. I feel you, the smell of rain.
Negz, the movie was made in the 1970s, okay, before 3-hour movies became a thing. So it's a great action movie.
And if you complain next, then you have to watch The
Brutalist.
The Brutalist in one sitting without toilet break. That's right. God, David Lynch. What a crazy mind this. Wild at Heart is my favorite David Lynch movie.
Okay.
With Nicolas Cage and Laura Dern being crazy around America. I love that movie. And of course, Twin Peaks.
I loved Twin Peaks.
For the time, Clara, when this came out, thanks to the producers that say, okay, go for it.
On network TV.
Yes. It was even here in Germany. I remember in Germany, I was sitting with my dance colleagues and we would bake donuts and make coffee and watch a new episode. Oh, Clara, do you remember the time when there was one episode a week?
Oh, I know.
And it was an event.
It was all gorgeous. It was the cast. It was the story. It was the opening credits with the music, that haunting, beautiful music. Kyle MacLachlan, of course.
In the prime of his years.
That's right. But you're right. It was so ahead of its time that I couldn't believe. And I can't remember, was it on Fox here? I think. But to think that somebody would greenlight that project with all of its weird dream sequences and its very, very dark themes and the scripts that were so out there.
Yeah.
It was unlike any other TV show.
All of the characters. Which character is forgettable from this show?
That's right.
You don't know maybe all the names, but as soon as somebody's showing you a picture of the log lady,
I was going to say the log lady.
Or the crazy one with the noiseless.
That's right.
Working on that. The cast, the characters. Oh, God.
Right. And we had, in the same time period, we had the X-Files. So there was always something. Or did the X-Files come out later? Because Twin Peaks was in the early 90s. And I don't remember how many seasons it ran, because the X-Files was the show that I used to watch when I worked at ABC. And that was like 94 onward. But absolutely fantastic.
Oh, if you want to watch a cringe moment, watch Gillian Anderson and Mulder at the last award show that we watched last weekend.
Oh, no. What happened?
When they went off script.
Uh-oh.
That was not a good idea. That was,
what did they do?
They tried to hate it on each other, was my feeling.
What?
Because, you know, they cannot stand each other.
Oh, I didn't know that.
They never could.
Really?
Yes. And yes, Gillian Anderson, she looked amazing last week, and a very cute dress with her glasses and all professional and shit. And then Fox Mulder went off script. Forget the teleprompter. And I don't, maybe you can explain to me what happened there, but it was very cringy and the audience was not having it.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Wicked.
See, that's a show that ran too long.
Yes.
That was a show where they should have just pulled the plug at a certain point before it went completely off the rails.
Yeah, when they started to change the character slowly but surely. I mean, the revival was cute for one season, years later, to make one season more. But but they couldn't help themselves, and they couldn't stop after that and made another one. And it does not have the charm. Where's the smoker?
Yeah, exactly.
What is X-Files without smoker? And he had a spectacular death in the X-Files when the canyon exploded and he was sitting in this Indian costume somewhere as a wise man, and he's burning up in flames. And thank you very much for the X-Files. Money, but it's money. It's always money.
Yeah, like Dexter, which I've never seen, and I still need to see it. And also like Lost, which...
You have to finish it.
Yeah, at some point you've got to bring it to an end. And apparently there was so much chaos off camera that even Damon Lindelof was like, God, I hate this show. And I hate every single one of you. Every single one of you. I hate you all.
And it's cute that he said in an interview he does not know at the time how to end it. He had no idea because, the concept was only one season.
Right.
And that's it. But then, of course, with that success, they had to do something. Yeah. And the end is a lot. It's a lot. I'm not lying. It's a lot.
No name. I am so glad to see you because I had something prepared to say to you. So, you withheld information from me. I did not know that you were from Southie. And that is important information. but I forgive you for not telling me. The fact that you are from Southie makes me love you even more. Because you know, I have a very, very soft spot in my heart for the Boston Irish. And one of my closest friends from like the 2000s is from Dorchester. And my college roommate, when I went to college in DC, was from Charlestown. And I went to visit my friend in Dorchester in 2002, so right around the time that the whole Catholic Church scandal was breaking. And my friend drove me around that whole area. And one thing that I couldn't get over was the fact that there was a tanning salon in Southie. And I turned to my friend and I said, why would you open a tanning salon in an Irish neighborhood? And he said, Southie, it's not what Southie used to be. All the yuppies are moving into Southie. So Southie is not what it once was. I love it. That's one area that you should visit, Karsten, if you ever come to the U.S. Is go to Boston and drive around Southie, Charlestown, and Dorchester, and you would think that you were in Belfast.
Well, I think when I come over there, I have a few visits to do then, and I think we will be very busy. Next, get ready when Crocetta is coming German style.
That's right.
I'm just saying.
He's coming. He doesn't even have to come with a Panzer. He's just coming with his presence.
In all of my 6'4" glory.
There you go.
I wake you up every morning next, German style.
I shudder to think what that means.
1, 2, 3, 4. With a horn.
And
we
just
will
to
have so much fun.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you'll it's going to be quite maybe not a culture shock for you.
It will be.
Oh, you think so?
I'm very sensitive to these things about my surroundings.
Oh, okay.
But you know, everything will be fine as soon as we have done our first 3-hour hike, German style, with the whole family.
That's right.
Little Nex, get ready.
That's right. Everybody breathe in and breathe out.
Yes.
So, yeah. Now I want to go watch Good Will Hunting again.
Oh, where does this come from?
Because of Southie.
Oh.
Because we were talking about Southie. And I was thinking of that scene in Good Will Hunting when they're in the bar. And Matt Damon goes up to the window of the bar. He goes, "Hey, you like apples? I got a number. How do you like them apples?"
Matt Damon.
No, don't be mean.
He's also such an iconic character because he has this face. You recognize him everywhere.
Everywhere.
They can put a beard on. Doesn't matter. You know it's Matt Damon.
And this is why you have to see Oppenheimer, because he's so good in that movie.
I still have not watched Oppenheimer. Shame on me. Shame on Crocetta.
But Josh Hartnett is in it.
I know.
I mean, everybody's in it.
Oh, and you have talked yesterday. Sorry when I go off topic. You spoke in your live stream yesterday about The Running Man when you talked about Squid Game. There's a remake coming from The Running Man.
Somebody said that in chat. Tell me about it.
With the cowboy actor from Twisters as the as the Running Man. That's
really
cute. Yeah.
Will it be dark?
I hope so. I don't want to see that colorful bullshit again.
No.
It was a thing of the time, I think. Oh, that was great English, Karsten. You're always improving yourself. Fantastic.
Which movie did you finally watch, Anna Nicole? But yeah, I hated the Schwarzenegger version of the movie.
Yeah.
I hated it. It didn't capture the desperation of the guy who entered that competition. Not really.
But this is a great word, desperation, and I hope they're running with this theme. Because Squid Game is also very colorful. It's a different way of the topic in general, because the stories are also sad behind it. But I really hope they are going with the book.
It has to be very, very, very dark.
Hey, no name.
Oh, you finally watched Oppenheimer, Anna? It's a masterpiece. One of the best movies I've seen in years. All of it. And all of the actors. And how they bring in, like, actors who were heartthrobs in, like, the 80s and 90s, and now they're stately older gentlemen. Whether it's Matthew Modine, all of them. It was great. It was an amazing cast. Weren't you telling me, Crochetter, that Christopher Nolan is making a Star Wars movie?
Allegedly.
Okay.
The last thing that they have offered Christopher Nolan to start a new trilogy.
I hope not. Please, God, no. Not Star Wars.
They should leave Star Wars alone.
It's enough. It's enough. They've dug it up. They've powdered the bones. They've scattered them. They've done everything they can. And, I mean, granted, it's like so many worlds that you can look at, but I think that the Star Wars fandom is fed up. I mean, maybe if they attach Christopher Nolan's name to it, it might have a prayer. But no, enough.
Maybe he will only produce it. But I cannot imagine Christopher Nolan having any interest in trying to save that franchise.
No, you can't save it.
No,
Star Wars cannot be saved. It's over.
It's great what they tried with the last trilogy, which was, in my opinion, way better than episode 1, 2, and 3.
Well, those were disasters.
Yes. So J.J. Abrams really tried something. Yeah, but this is where it ends for me.
No.
If it's not having the charm of episode 4, 5, 6, no. And I'm dreading the day that they are deciding to remake them.
God forbid.
I mean, then at least we have another movie stream where we can talk about it.
I mean, come on. You know, when I first saw Star Wars in the theater in, what was it, like 1977, it was an event. You know, Lucas movies and Spielberg movies were events.
Yeah.
You stood in line for hours. The line went around the block. You went in. It was exciting. And then it just got run into the ground. And those movies, not those movies, because thank God Spielberg had enough control over his intellectual property that he would not allow E.T. to turn into a franchise. Or, I mean, I guess he lost his grip on Indiana Jones because what a shame. But he didn't permit that shit to happen. He didn't let Jaws get turned into a franchise. I mean, they made those awful follow-ups that were terrible, but you know,
they stopped it at least.
Thank God.
And wasted Michael Caine in part 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Completely waste.
Well, I'm going to log off, my friend. And I'm going to watch Apple Cider Vinegar on Netflix.
Okay.
And I want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
I
you
appreciate
guys
it.
for listening to us just fangirling over movies because we really like movies.
And I would love to have you on Monday for an Oscars and red carpet recap.
Oh, we do that. Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Because there's no co-host I'd rather have than you to talk about all this
Then
the
I will
stuff
write
that,
maybe a few things down when I watch it tomorrow at night.
please, because we've got to be shady, we've got to be
Yeah.
critical, and we've got to appreciate the people who actually deserve to win.
And it's the end of the award season for 2024.
That's right.
And
All right, my friend.
thank you
I
very much
will
for
see you
having me on.
later.
Thank you, dear audience.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm sorry about that weird screw up at the beginning of the stream. And I am going to have to figure out why my intro didn't play. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the outro, and we'll see if I have better luck with the outro. So I will see you guys the next time. See you later, guys.